Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm doing a very quick review of Scream Factory's new release of My Bloody Valentine, brand new collector's edition, and I did reverse the inside to have the original theatrical poster artwork, but I do have the new slipcover here, and I did get the limited one as well. So I do have the two slipcovers here that came with this release directly from Scream Factory. So My Bloody Valentine came out in 1981, and it was around the start of the slasher craze that started because of Halloween and Friday the 13th, where you had obviously the slasher film idea mixed with some sort of recognizable theme, whether or not it was you know, a certain day or something along those lines. And obviously Valentine's Day definitely lent itself to that sort of thing. And while some of the slasher films from back then were a little generic, but still fun. The thing I've always loved about My Bloody Valentine was that it actually does tell a good story. And like I said, I've always enjoyed My Bloody Valentine. I've always thought of it as sort of one of the better slasher films from back then. And despite some other films, My Bloody Valentine was released by Paramount, much like Friday the 13th, so it always fared better when it came to older video releases, like even, you know, back on VHS or DVD or the old Blu-ray that Lionsgate had actually put out. It actually always looked decent. But this new edition from Scream Factory definitely goes the extra mile. So it is transferred from the original camera negative, and it definitely shows. I mean, it just has a fullness to the picture with the colors and the detail, and especially because obviously a lot of the film takes place at night and in the dark, you know, especially when they're in the mines, looks really good, and you don't have like super grainy dark areas, for example. It's just a really impressive transfer, and the fact that they actually got access to the original negative, I really think is what kind of made it give the film a really sort of the best presentation you can get. And obviously this version does have both cuts of the film, just like the older Lionsgate film, although I think the older Lionsgate one, I think, used the branching. The Scream Factory release actually has two different discs, so there's no issue with branching or bitrate or anything. So disc 1 has the original theatrical R-rated cut, and then disc 2 has the unrated cut. So the unrated cut has inserts that are not quite up to par because they don't have the original negative to those pieces that were cut out. So the picture quality is a lot less, but I still thought it looked good. I don't know, I think they're coming off maybe a work print or something. And the older Lionsgate release, they definitely stood out quite easily. I mean, they were very washed out and very grainy. In this one, I was actually surprised how well they actually were able to match the inserted stuff into the film, with the exception of maybe two bits where they were inserted where you could definitely tell the difference. One of them specifically, Blu-ray.com, has the screen grabs. This sequence here of the transfer from the film negative, and then here's part of the inserted stuff, and you could tell that there is an obvious difference. And that's not a fault from the transfer. I mean, the thing is, they are limited to what they have to work with, but the rest, that's the only one that I found that really stood out. The other inserts, I was actually really surprised how well, in fact, some of them I was just like, I can't remember, was that an insert or not? So kudos to them for actually matching them as well as they could. The older release had a Remixed Surround mix, which did not work too well. Luckily for this one, the original mono, which has been remastered and sounds really good, and so that way they didn't try and do anything overly fancy with it. It's just the original mono mix from 1981, just remastered and sounding as good as ever. And as is the case with a new collector's edition, they've obviously done a boatload of new features, a ton of new interviews with a bunch of the cast and crew, and it does have even like a Q&A that was done at a convention in Tampa, Florida, if I remember correctly, which are kind of fun. If you've never had a chance to go to a convention, I mean, those are always a great time, and especially like the Q&As. And it does have a lot of like the promotional items and the trailers and things like that. Now, is this the Ultimate Edition? Pretty close to it. I was so surprised by how good the film looked and sounded, and by all the extras, which I still haven't even been able to go through all of them because there was actually a decent amount. I mean, obviously the only thing would have been to obviously have, which I know a lot of you have mentioned, and I kind of agree with you, would have been if they were able to actually do another NECA figure, like a Harry Ward NECA figure to kind of go along with this release. That would have been good. My guess is they probably could have to do more with Paramount than anything. Could be wrong about that, but that would be my guess. Hopefully we do get a Harry Warden figure someday, though. I think that would be awesome. But as far as the overall presentation of the film and having a bunch of extras, I mean, I was so happy to get this and start going through it. Amazed by how good the film looked. Really happy with the amount of extras that are on here. I think there's a documentary on the older release that isn't on this one, but it didn't really have too much to do with My Bloody Valentine, so I can understand why it wouldn't be on this release. Plus, the older release suffered from disc rot, so there's a good chance, you know, those older ones don't even play anymore, which kind of sucks, but luckily now I don't mind, because for me, as of now, this is definitely the ultimate release of My Bloody Valentine. So if you're getting this new release, definitely let me know your thoughts as well. I'm super happy with it, and it was really, really great revisiting the film the other night as well. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.